Disney confirms the closing date for ToonTown and comments on the future of all the attractions. We've got a mask mandate update for Disneyland and other theme parks around the state. Plus, Disney has announced they're going to build a Disney-themed community in Palm Springs. And news of the return of a fan-favorite attraction to California Adventure. All coming up next. Fresh Baked. Hi guys, David here from Fresh Baked, and we've got some updates for you from around the Disneyland Resort. And we're going to start with some comments made by Disney today on the Disney Parks blog regarding the future of ToonTown. You've probably heard by now that Disney's going to be doing a fairly major remodel in ToonTown. They're going to build a whole new area around this tree in the concept art. But apart from that, a lot of people have had questions about when the land is going to close and how long it'll be down for. What's going to happen to all those attractions in ToonTown? Well, first, let's get to that close date. Disney confirmed that it's going to be March 8th. ToonTown will be closing on March 8th. So far, we don't have an official return date. They've said only 2023. I believe some have heard spring of 2023, but I find that unlikely. I feel like it's more likely summer or maybe even later than that. Now, with regard to the attractions, there was some concern. The concept art is a little bit vague, as it often is, because the focus of that concept art was on the centerpiece, the addition, what's new happening at ToonTown. And so some of the existing attractions didn't really get a lot of focus. People were concerned, is something going to happen to them? Namely, Roger Rabbit's. But Disney did confirm today that Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin would still be there when the land reopens in 2023, along with Mickey's house and Minnie's house, which is something of a surprise to me, considering they haven't really been in a hurry to bring back traditional meet and greets. Mickey's house and Minnie's house are considered to be traditional meet and greets. Matter of fact, they're more than that. They're not just a traditional meet and greet. They're a whole house that you can walk through. But they've closed both of those houses completely. And they've been in no hurry whatsoever to reopen them. Not even a whisper, except for those birthday parties that they're having at Mickey's house. So hearing that they're going to return is kind of a surprise. I thought those might be right for, I don't know, repurposing or something like that. But we will be getting Mickey's house back. We will be getting Minnie's house back, and presumably a traditional meet and greet when that happens. Otherwise, I don't see any reason to bring them back. This is the opportunity. So them coming back is actually a good sign for the return of traditional meet and greets. On what timeline, we don't know yet, but maybe it'll take that long before that happens. Now, what about the other attractions in ToonTown? Disney said that some will be reimagined in new and exciting ways. Those include Gadget's Go Coaster, Goofy's House, and Donald's Boat. We can only guess what that means, new and exciting ways. Typically, that's code for reskin, the way things have been going lately. That's at least my assumption for Gadget's Go Coaster, because you're not going to rebuild the coaster itself, so you're probably just going to reskin it. Having said that, I kind of like the skin that's on Gadget's Go Coaster. I think it's cute, it's adorable, it's unique, it's different. I like it, so I'm not sure what their plans are for that. But there may be hope for Donald's Boat and Goofy's House, which they're not exactly the coolest things. They used to be. They used to have more things to do, more fun. They've really sanitized both of those attractions a lot. Goofy's used to be a bounce house. Donald's Boat used to have things you can climb on and around. You could really get crazy in both of those houses. Now they're just, I don't know, concrete. So there's hope. The fact that they're bringing them back reimagined in different ways, does that mean that they're going to change the theme completely? No longer Goofy's house, no longer Donald's house? I'm not sure. But at the very minimum, I feel like we're at least going to get something that's better than what we have now. That's a low bar to overcome. There is little to do in Donald's Boat besides climb the stairs and look out. There's nothing to do in Goofy's house besides go in it and go back out. It's one of the least exciting things you can do. The backyard's cool. The little yard with the pumpkins and the little paths or whatever, that's fun. So I have hopes that they do something interesting with both of those locations. I don't think they're going to rebuild them per se, because the artwork, the concept art does kind of look like Goofy's house, and it does kind of look like Donald's Boat. So although not exactly the same, I don't know. I've got hope that they're at least going to reimagine them in a way that makes them more visitable. So as I mentioned, ToonTown closing on March 8th. If you have designs on seeing ToonTown in its original state, in the state that it's been in for the most part, for the last 30 years, give or take a few things, get there before March 8th. You've got less than a month, 20 days or so. And then it's never going to be the same again, ToonTown. Now, if Gadget's Go Coaster does get a reskin, what do you think is going to happen there? What do you want? What's in the pipeline? Is there anything in the pipeline, IP-wise, that could lend itself to an attraction like this? Let us know in the comments. Tell us what you think they're going to do with Gadget's Go Coaster. Otherwise, let's talk next about some news on the mask mandate front. We reported earlier in the week that Disney would be lifting their indoor mask mandate effective Thursday the 17th. That day has come and gone. Hopefully you caught our report on this on Fresh Baked. Previous to this, the state of California lifted its indoor mask mandate, but said that any county that had its own mask requirements could keep those in effect. This included Los Angeles, who said they were going to keep their mask mandates. But that changed a bit on Wednesday when LA County lifted its outdoor mask mandate. A decision to which a lot of people responded, we gotta wear masks outdoors in LA? I'm in Orange County, so maybe I'm not aware of this, but that seems crazy. They were still wearing masks outdoors in LA? And this also comes, by the way, just a couple days after what happened on Super Bowl Sunday, where it looked to me like pretty much nobody was wearing a mask during that Super Bowl, which, again, is an indoor stadium. And certainly it's an event that could be described as being a mega event. But despite this, LA County still has an indoor mask policy, which affects Universal Studios and Magic Mountain. But I have a feeling, that indoor mask mandate is going to come to an end pretty soon in LA County, which would relieve a lot of pressure at places like Magic Mountain and Universal Studios. Okay, let's talk next about a story that had everybody talking on social media on Wednesday. Disney has pretty much, out of nowhere, who saw that? Nobody had this on their radar. Disney announced that they're going to build a private community in the Coachella Valley. Not a theme park or a resort, but a literal neighborhood in Rancho Mirage. Basically Palm Springs, for those of you who are not local and understand all the different cities that are in the Coachella Valley. Palm Springs. Comparisons were made, obviously, to Golden Oak and Celebration in Florida. Celebration is it's a city outside of the Walt Disney World Resort, but built by Disney, while Golden Oak is a community of custom-built luxury homes that are inside the Walt Disney World Resort property. This new development will be called Cotino and will likely be upscale in nature, I'm sure, kind of like Golden Oaks. And it's going to include this, kind of man-made lake, plus something like a Disney Springs type experience around which the rest of the community would be built. This is kind of a long view of the community, and there you see the lake in the middle. It looks like you could swim in it. It looks like there's a beach. Have they made a beach in the middle of the low desert? Looks like you could do a little kayaking on the water too. And then behind the beach setting there's that Disney Springs area back there, which I assume is also this. Shops, restaurants, coffee shops. I almost get the feeling like they want you to stay in this neighborhood rather than going out. Is that because it feels like that's what they're doing, right? Walt Disney World is designed that way. You don't leave the Walt Disney World property, but that's a resort. This is a home. But it feels like they want to give you everything that you need. Well, I don't know if it's everything, but a lot of the things that you would need to keep you on the property. But what would be the purpose of that? I'm not sure. By the way, all of these shops, etc., will be run by trained cast members, Disney trained cast members. I don't know if they're going to have any third-party influence yet, and by that I mean, like a Starbucks or a corner bakery, that kind of thing. But they did say specifically in the update or in the announcement that these are going to be run by cast members. Disney doesn't own this place. This is not a property that they own. They're not selling the homes. They're not even building the homes. It sounds like Disney's only purpose here is to be, to call it a Disney property, and then to lend their, cast member skills, the Disney level cast member experience in a neighborhood like this. Looks like this is a shot from on the water, looking back into one of the restaurants, which that looks lovely. I'm not sure what this is. It doesn't seem actually very Disney to me, but I wonder if that is even the goal, or should it be? If they're billing this as a Disney-owned, not Disney-owned, Disney-inspired, if it's a Disney community, would there be an expectation that it looks and feels Disney? Not a judgment, because this is just concept art. It's more of a question for you. If you were thinking about buying into a property like this, and it was being billed as a Disney community, a Disney property, would the expectation be that it looks and feels Disney? If it's not Disney, then why am I buying here? Other than, let's say one of the other 100 properties that you could buy a home at in the Coachella Valley in the Palm Springs area. And many of them that are, luxury, custom, with tremendous amenities, including golf courses, which by all appearances, this property does not have a golf course. And right there's an interesting thing. They're going to build a luxury community in the middle of what is generally accepted to be a retired person's golf mecca. This is where, if you love golf and you're retired and you love the desert, that's where you go. You go to Palm Springs. Personally, I wouldn't buy in Palm Springs if it wasn't on a golf course. I can't see any reason not why I would do that. Anyway, the whole thing is curious, and I feel like it requires, maybe a little bit more closer inspection, a little more understanding of what it is they're doing. Because I don't think anybody can actually say for sure what this even is, other than the concept art. It's very vague. We don't really know anything. They kind of sprung us out of nowhere. It actually feels a lot like Disneyland Forward, which they've even conceded on Disneyland Forward. They were saying, hey, this concept art is just a placeholder. This isn't even close to what we don't even know what we're going to do. And it's the truth, at least. Disneyland Forward is a complete unknown. I would even go so far as to think on that Disneyland Forward topic that I think that there's just as likely a chance that Disneyland Forward never happens as there is that it gets finished. That's a topic that I think I may want to come back to soon, Disneyland Forward, and what some of the roadblocks are to that. I don't know if they're going to be at all tangential to what's happening in the desert, if that's the kind of thing that may not ever happen either. I think they are going to do this. I think this Cotina thing is definitely going to happen because promises have probably already been made on that regard. But there have been no promises for Disneyland Forward, and I am officially off track. Let's get back on track, Fresh Baked. And we're going to do that with a little bit of good news. Good news for those of you who fancy yourselves, I don't know, fans or nostalgic of DCA 1.0. If you're going to be in town, if you're going to be at Disneyland or at California Adventure for that matter, during the Food and Wine Festival starting March 4th, you will be able to enjoy the original Soarin' over California. Its run at Grizzly Peak will coincide with Food and Wine Festival, and it's going to replace what is, the new attraction Soarin' around the world. Plenty of Disneyland fans are happy about this, I'm sure. It's been a fan favorite for a long time now. Instead of Paris, Australia, you're going to see Yosemite National Park or the Golden Gate Bridge, among others. So that's fun. It's always a good time when they bring back Soarin' over California. I always make a point of going there when it happens. I'm not a fan of that attraction in general, but over the years I've come to appreciate the Soarin' over California over Soarin' around the world. I think I do prefer the California one, which is odd, considering I don't like the California theme for DCA. But I digress. That's it for our news update this week, you guys. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. If you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/FreshBaked. We are also posting news articles and updates on our website at freshbakedisney.com, and you can stay tuned for more content being delivered specifically exclusive to our Patreon account, which I just mentioned earlier, featuring Liz, among other things. She's doing a lot of videos for that as well. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.